आणि त्यामुळे आज हा हँड माईक चालू होत नाहीये हे अगदी छोटं कारण आहे. एंटरप्रेन्योर क्लब खूप छोटा आहे, पण अत्यंत प्रोफेशनली मॅनेज केलेला असतो. आणि मला इतका आनंद आहे की मी या क्लबचा मेंबर झालो. आज 10 वर्ष मी या क्लबचा मेंबर आहे. या क्लबने मला खूप भरभरून गोष्टी दिल्या. मला एक गोष्ट प्रकर्षाने जाणवली, आणि ती की आपल्या समाजात एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप ही वाढायला पाहिजे, एंटरप्रेन्योर मेंटॅलिटी वाढायला पाहिजे. म्हणजे एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप आणि एंटरप्रेन्योर याचा आपण घोटाळा करतो. आपल्याला वाटतं की एंटरप्रेन्योर म्हणजे आपण उद्योजक व्हायला पाहिजे. तसं नसतं. आपण कुठल्याही लाईफमधल्या स्टेजमध्ये, आपण विद्यार्थी असू, नोकरी करत असू, तरी आपण एंटरप्रेन्योर असू शकतो. आणि ती गोष्ट या क्लबच्या माध्यमातून मला शिकायला मिळाली की आपण जर प्रत्येकाने एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, एंटरप्रेन्योर मेंटॅलिटी जर बांधवली आपल्याकडे, तर आपल्या देशातले सगळे प्रश्न सुटतील असं माझं अगदी खात्रीशीरपणे मला वाटतं. आपण या क्लबच्या मेंबर्सनी मला रिस्पेक्ट दिला, मला खूप मान दिला, माझ्या एक्सपिरियन्सला तो मान दिलेला आहे. आणि मला खूप आनंद झाला. एक लेखनाची मला यातनं प्रेरणा मिळाली, आणि मी काही मराठीमधनं मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग सेक्टर हा असतो तरी कसा याचं कॉमन लोकांना समजावं असं दृष्टीने लेखन केलं. ते लेखन खूप लोकांना आवडलं, मलाही खूप मित्र मिळाले. आणि या सगळ्या प्रोसेसमध्ये मला असं आढळलं की ही एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप लोकांना आवडते. आणि मग लोक मला असं म्हणायचे, अहो गोखले तुमचं लाईफ इतकं फॅक्टरीमधलं टफ असतं, आम्हाला अजिबात कल्पना नव्हती. म्हणून सकाळचं मला अभिनंदन करावंसं वाटतं की त्यांनी मला ही संधी दिली. एक वाक्य मात्र सकाळी माझ्या लेखातलं शेवटचं गाळलं, जे मी आत्ता इथे आपल्याला बोलून दाखवणार आहे. विथ नो हार्ड फिलिंग्स. मी असं शेवटी वाक्य लिहिलं होतं की छोटे छोटे क्लब्स पुण्यात बरेच काम करतात, एंटरप्रेन्योर क्लबसारखे. या क्लबचा जीव खूप छोटा आहे. म्हणजे त्यांना खूप वर्गणी जमवा, लोकांपुढे या, लोकांच्या सभा घ्या, इव्हेंट करा, याच्यात खूप त्यांना लिमिटेशन्स पडतात. त्यासाठी मोठ्या इंडस्ट्रीज, मीडिया आणि आपण सगळे लोक यांनी या क्लब्सना मदत केली पाहिजे. हे वाक्य त्यांनी त्यातनं गाळून टाकलं, पण ह्या सत्य परिस्थिती आहे. आज मला असं वाटतं की आपण खूप म्हणतो की आपल्या देशाची प्रगती होते का, तर GDP बघतो आपण, लिटरसी रेट बघतो आपला कसा आहे, आपली डॉलर व्हॅल्यू काय, आपण प्रोग्रेस करतो का, असे खूप इंडिकेटर्स असतात आपल्याकडे. पण मी एकच गोष्ट बघतो, आणि कदाचित माझा मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंगवर जास्त विश्वास असल्यामुळे ते असेल. मी एकच गोष्ट बघतो की एंटरप्रेन्योर क्लबसारखे क्लब वाढत असतील तर आपला देश नक्कीच पुढे जातोय. थँक्यू.
Thank you, sir, for those kind words of encouragement. I would now request our chief guest, Mr. Devdhar, to release the souvenir for 2017. Thank you so much, sir. Friends, as the greats have said, change is the only thing that is constant, and the time has come for change of guard, the old giving away to the new. First, we would like to begin with the Entrepreneurs Club of Baramati. Mr. Sunil Gole is handing over charge to Mr. Shafiq Sayyad. At the Entrepreneurs Club Pune, I, Dr. Ashish Thaukar, is handing over charge to Mr. Suhas Godse. At the Entrepreneurs Club of Pimpri Chinchwad, Mr. Sanjay Bhelle hands over charge to Mr. Pankaj Nikam. And last but not the least, at Entrepreneurs Club of Nigdi, Mr. Pratap Zadav hands over charge to Mr. Anil Athanikar. Anil Tavazani. घेऊनच आले. Thanks to all the individual clubs for having put in your faith in the new leadership. Wishing all the new presidents all the very best for their term. Now, the time has come to listen to the words of wisdom from our chief guest, Mr. P.S. Devdhar. I would request Mr. Sagar Kasar to please introduce our chief guest.
Good evening, friends. It's a great honor and privilege to introduce today's chief guest, Shri Prabhakar Shankar Devdharji, popularly known as P.S. Devdhar, father of smart cards industries in India. Mr. P.S. Devdhar is a technocrat, industrialist, scientist, and an intelligence behind electronics and computer revolution in India. Mr. Devdhar is the founder of 200 crore Applab group of companies. Applab Limited was established in 1962. In 1985, Mr. Devdhar was invited by late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi ji to take over as the chairman of the Electronics Commission, Government of India, as an advisor to the Prime Minister. Earlier in 1983, he suggested to Mrs. Indira Gandhi ji benefits of changing over to a liberalized electronics policy and set in motion liberalization of ICT technologies. He also was the chairman of the Broadcast Council in 1992-93 that set in motion the privatization of electronics media with metro channels. He has been the chairman of 4th Jagtik Marathi Parishad held in Jerusalem, Israel in 1997. At state level, he has been the chairman of Meltron and the president of Maharashtra Economic Development Council, a premier state level promotional body and a research institution. In international circles, Mr. Devdhar has an impressive reputation. He is a fellow of IEEE USA and has been honored with the prestigious US Award Engineering Manager for 1990 by the Engineering Management Society of IEEE USA. Mr. Devdhar is the Distinguished Fellow of IET. He is also the Fellow of Institution of Engineers, Fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineers, and the Honorable Fellow of Broadcast Engineering Society. As an engineer, Mr. Devdhar has designed and developed hundreds of professional electronics products that are manufactured and exported to Western Europe and North America. For over 5 decades, Applab Group is the prime Indian source of high-quality professional electronic products. Mr. Devdhar has been promoting the use of information technology for speeding up in national development. Currently, he is the president of India-China Economic and Cultural Council, New Delhi. His achievements in the field of electronics engineering have turned him into a role model of many young engineers. He is renowned author of the book Sinesthana, based on India and China relationships. His other books include The Third Parent, Capital Punishment, Is Anyone Out There, and Ajab Tujhe Sarkar. He has done a great contribution to Indian electronics and IT industries. Over the last 50 plus years, he has given the Indian industries hundreds of innovative and R&D products ranging from digital computers using vacuum tube amplifiers, digital batch counters, servo motor line power stabilizer to intelligent solar energy accumulator and smart cards. In 1983, he wrote a policy note that helped Mrs. Indira Gandhi ji to rewrite electronic policy that delicensed consumer electronic sector and enabled easy export of software services. In 1985, he brought India's first rupees 5,000 20-inch color TV under AT&T brand, sold over half a million almost quantities and around 40% market share. CDOT adopted the same model for rural exchanges. In 1985, he brought India's first rupees 1400 14-inch black and white TV under AT&T brand. In 1985, he wrote a new concept to support SMEs under MTB scheme that allowed SMEs to get 100% material kit, proven technology, and to use AT&T brand. In 1987, he brought pupils PCXT computer at almost rupees 10,000 with 3 software packages for word processing, spreadsheet, and fully licensed MS-DOS operating system. With several thousands of sales, this pushed Wipro and SCL to drop their prices almost by half. In 1988, he brought fully automated shooting range for national security guards in NSG headquarters in Delhi, used for training and Prime Minister National Sharpshooter competition in 1994. In 1990, he developed the first EEPROM chip for smart cards, developed first stored value smart card public payphones in India, exported hundreds of smart card public payphones to Belgium, developed multi-cassette ATM machines for Indian banks with local language support, developed self-service kiosk for check depositing, sine wave inverters for the German railway and military applications, delivered programmable, non-programmable, active DC loads, automated test systems, cassettes, instruments, developed automated retail fuel dispensers with built-in computers for petroleum companies, and many more such pioneering products for Indian industries. The International Conference on Smart Cards held in New Delhi, Mr. Devdar was honored as the father of smart card industries in India, in recognition of his pioneering efforts to bring this leading-edge technology to India. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shri P.S. Devdar ji with a great round of applause. Thank you.
I would now request Mr. Devdar to please take charge of the stage and enlighten us with his words of wisdom. I would now request Mr. Santosh Lalwani, the chairman of Entrepreneurs International, to present the guidelines, that is the principles of JRD Tata, to the chief guest, Mr. P.S. Devdar. Thank you, Santosh. Sir, the stage is yours.
Good evening, everybody. I just now realized that I should have been your member. I also became an entrepreneur long time ago, in 1962. At that time, I was working with a Tata Institute, making nuclear instruments, designing and manufacturing nuclear instruments. It was made to standards, international standards. And I realized at that time that there could be a market for industrial electronic systems in India. And there was nobody offering those products in India. So I left my job, and in October 62, I started my company in a small garage on Ranade Road in Dadar. From then on, a lot of young engineers also joined me, and we grew and did a lot of fun in electronics.
produce a lot of new products, produce products which will meet the requirements of German market. Because at that time, unless you feature yourself or offer your services or you develop products which are acceptable in the most developed country in the world, your quality culture in your own company does not develop. Unless we are careful to watch quality, it is one thing that deteriorates very quickly. Because shortcuts are always very attractive. And in India, there is, at least in those years, today things are getting better, but in those days, entrepreneurship and manufacturing was not known to government. So they did not know what are the requirements of a entrepreneur, what he needs to succeed. So I think year after year, if I look at India's industrial growth, I find that entrepreneurs were never supported by the government. It is only now that you hear startup. Now, startups, government starts at the other end. Then they said, you start, if you lose money, it doesn't matter. That's the message that government gave. But that's not the message that you give. If you lose money in any case. And there were so many concessions when government said that we want Make in India. What did they do first? Probably that was a wise thing. They went abroad and invited all sorts of countries in the world to come and set up shops in India. We are 30 years late because China already did it. And now we may succeed for a different reason. We may succeed for a different reason because China has two problems. Number one, no country in the world likes China. Number two, cost of labor in China has almost become as high as in United States. Therefore, I think some of the international companies would come to India for two reasons. Number one, because of lower cost of labor, government becoming more industry friendly, and we have the market. I am not surprised that so many smartphones are being manufactured in India. It makes a great sense. 30% of the world market is here. So obviously, these foreign companies will also come. But government ignored the most important sector all along till I think GST. GST was the first thing that they did, which is ideal for rapid industrial growth and minimizing problems of the industry. It is for the first time, just now it's less than a month when GST has started, and already the transportation cost has come down by 30%. I am sure fuel consumption has gone down. It used to take almost 2 days to deliver goods at 800, 900 kilometers away. Today that distance has already halved. When industries wanted to send their material for processing outside, there was so many hurdles in doing that efficiently, time consuming. All those are gone. So I think for the first time, entrepreneurs should be smiling because something good has happened for them after a long time. But while we are wooing international companies to come and start manufacturing here, and we are enthusing youngsters to be startups, entrepreneurship has become a entrepreneur as a word has become great value today. We are all lucky that we are being now respected. So, this is happening on one end. But I always ask one question to the government whenever I get a chance. So, what are you doing for startups? Startups have not benefited in last 3 years. So I think when the industrial policies are structured by bureaucrat sitting in Delhi who has nothing to do with shop floor, they do not know where the shoe pinches, and therefore they don't write the 9 policies. When I met Mrs. Gandhi accidentally one evening, which in fact led to some good results, I told her, Madam, why should we tell from Delhi how many televisions should be made by Philips? Or how many switchgear products should be made by L&T? What is the great wisdom on the market that we have here by which we can tell industry how much to produce? So she told me what she was probably briefed, that when we give foreign exchange to these people, it's a drain on foreign exchange. So being in industry, I knew what was the reality. So I told her no. At that time, dollar was 12 rupees. So I told her, Madam, dollar is 12 rupees. And if you give that to industry, we collect 37 rupees as taxes. Import duty was 100%. Excise duty was there. Other taxes and duties were there. So government earning per dollar was the highest if they give it to the industry. So I said, therefore, we must give more dollars to industry. Second thing I told her, I was, of course, at that time talking about electronics. And I said, Madam, most of these consumer electronic products that these companies are making, they are bought by people with black money if they have. Therefore, this is a good route also to mop up black money. Somehow these arguments hit her, and she suddenly said that, will you write down what kind of policy changes we must have? And I said yes. I came back. I didn't do anything. Because होता क्या है, गवर्नमेंट में कोई बोलता है अरे करो तुम, कागज भेजो, तो मैंने बोला शायद ऐसी बात हो गई. Then Gopi Arora, who became later our finance secretary, he was in PMO at that time. He called me and said, tell me some paper you are supposed to give to Madam Prime Minister, and she already reminded me twice whether she has received something. So that was the kind of Prime Minister she was. So I said, I am coming to Delhi, I will write it, tell Department of Electronics to give me some data